Hello friends, today we're going to turn this mediocre drawing into something a little bit more special. So this costume is actually a commissioned piece for one of my old friends. I started it off by making a mock-up out of some scrap fabric. I decided to make it crisscross in the front and tie around the back, so I knew I had to make the front pieces a lot longer. But it did help me get the general gist of what I was going for and what the shirt would look like actually on a body. And I thought I'd show you guys my inspiration / fashion sketch and all its mediocrity. Anyways, I wanted to have a little crisscross action, black fabric, gold accents, and some metallic-y kind of sheer material to bring it all together. The next thing I do is cut out the fabric for the real shirt based off the measurements from the mock-up I made, which is actually 2 really long rectangles. I cut it straight by using an ingenious idea that I had, which was to use a little chalk line string thingy that construction people use, and I know this because my dad is Bob the Builder and has like 4 of these laying around the house. So thank you, Dad, for that one and making my life a lot easier. Ray, on the other hand, sweetie, I know you try to help, but it's the thought that counts, and you're just so adorable, and so that's how you help me. Alrighty, we're back downstairs, and now I am laying these 2 pieces of fabric on my dress form and marking where to start sewing them together and where to stop sewing them together. I also decided to taper the tails of the ties so that when they tie around the back, it'll look like a nice kind of bow effect and not so clunky. And now I am sewing together the 2 sides of the shirt with 1 inch of seam allowance, and this is so I can do a rolled hem on all the edges and continue it through the seam of where they attach, and it finishes everything off and it looks really nice. And after that, I marked where the back of the fabric would meet the front after it crisscrosses, and I want it to be a little bit gathered so it looks kind of drapish, Draco Malfoy, anyways, on the fabric. And so then I just marked where that line was. Once it was sewed down to the front, I just cut off the excess and called it a day. Well, I don't actually think I called it a day, I kept working, but you know what I mean. I also added a little enforcement stitch where the shirt comes together just to make sure it's nice and secure. To start on the skirt, I took a big rectangle that was the appropriate length and I put a bunch of gathers in it using the pull on the string method, and then I draped it to where the edges would hit right on top of the thigh because I want to make this skirt have 2 slits. I finalized the gathers by top stitching them in place, and then I measured how long I need the other piece to be, which is not going to be gathered, it's going to be just flat across the front of the body. I cut out the respective loincloth piece and sewed it together to the rest of the skirt, right sides together, leaving again 1 inch of seam allowance and doing that same rolled hem situation on that as well. I decided that I wanted the skirt to be more full and have more flounciness in the back, and it was a little too tightly sitting for how I wanted it to look. So what I did was cut out a panel, cut the back of the skirt in half, and just sewed it in there so it looked exactly like the front where there's 2 seams instead of 1 down the middle. And I thought it pulled it together really nicely. I made the waistband by cutting out a rectangle that was the appropriate length to go all the way around the top of the skirt and about 3 inches so that when you fold it in half there's room for 1 inch elastic, which is what I was going to use. After that, I sewed it to be a circle and then I folded it in half and sewed it right sides together onto the skirt, making sure to leave a gap to feed the elastic through. After putting in the elastic that was the appropriate tightness, I then fixed the hole by sewing right over it. Now that the outfit's done, I move on to making the gold accessories, which includes a collar, pectoral necklace, a belt, a flap hanging down thingy, and some arm cuffs. Here I am cutting out these strips for the belt. I gave only the back edges a hem so that when I put the eyelets in, it had some reinforcement. And I made it with eyelets so that my friend can adjust the tightness of it however she pleases. I traced out the shape of the belt accessory flap thingy. And then once I got it the way I liked, I moved it to my golden vinyl to use that as a pattern piece to cut out from there. I also did the same with the collar pectoral necklace. I cut out 2 circles, one for the outside and one that was big enough for the neck hole, and then cut it out from the gold fabric. I also measured on my dress form and on my body to see how much of the full circle to cut away so that when I wear it, it's not sticking up all around in like this perfect circle, and that it's kind of laying at a downward slant from my neck to the end of my shoulder. Now I am painting a little black kind of faded border around the edge of all the accessories, and I think this really tied it together nicely with the black outfit. Oh, and if you're wondering why there's 2 pectorals here, did I mention that this is a couple's costume? I'm not really filming the men's part of this because there's just not enough time in the day for me right now, especially this Halloween season, but I will show you at the end. I painted a kind of muted teal little design and a black design in the middle of the necklace to add some extra embellishments. I also laid out all these different beads that I bought, and then I glued those bad boys on there, and it looks really nice because I got some that matched the fabric. Now I am just hot gluing some finishing touches on all the accessories and some Velcro so that they can actually put it on. For the next part of this costume, I got this super pretty organza fabric that reminded me of a scarab beetle, so I thought it would be pretty fitting in Egyptian terms. The first thing I'm going to make is this cape situation, and I start by kind of guessing how the shape is going to be. I cut out this giant square of the fabric, and then I folded that in half and rounded out the bottom triangle so it makes a swooshing effect. I wanted the points of the cape to be attached to the fingers, so it looks really cool when you move your arms, and it kind of reminds me of those LED light up wings that I keep getting Instagram ads for. But yeah, and then I just cut off the top to make it not so pointy. And after I hemmed the raw edges away, I gathered the top of the cape and added a little channel so I could fit the string through. I then took this piece of scrap gold fabric that I had and cut them into little circles that were fortunately stretchy. I sewed them onto the corners of the cape so that they would act like rings, and the cape could be worn on your fingers or worn just hanging down, whatever your preference. This honestly is looking so good so far. I'm so happy with how it turned out, but it's about to get even better when I sew this pretty gold trim around all the sides. And I'm really proud of this, actually. I want to wear this, and I want to make one for myself just to wear around the house. Maybe in a couple different colors too. For the finishing touches, I added some leftover trim onto both the necklaces, and I also made this really cool mask because of the virus who shall not be named. Wow, you guys, here is the entire ensemble on my dress form with all the accessories and the cape and the mask and the cool necklace and I'm actually really happy with how it all turned out. I love the crisscross in the back, and I hope that my friend can also wear the shirt and skirt on her regular day-to-day life, not only on Halloween, and that's why I wanted to make everything separate as well. And here is the elusive matching men's costume. I made a tank top, a skirt, a little loincloth skirt, a headband slash pharaoh looking headpiece, and then the same accessories for his costume as well. And they match so cute together, so I hope that they're both killing it this Halloween. My friend let me try on the costume, so here is a little glimpse of how it looks on a real person, aka me, who is arguably even real to begin with because I might be an alien. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, that was really bad. Damn.